Yo, and welcome. Today, all you might need is a band or a towel and your mat. The band is only necessary if you have tight shoulders, something I do. You may not need the towel. Let's first arrive at our mat and practice our breathing. As you inhale, let your stomach expand, and as you exhale, bring your belly button to your spine. If you're watching me, this is something I clearly have to work on. I still breathe like an athlete. Regardless, be present and arrive at your mat. In a moment, I'm going to shift my body and turn sideways onto my mat. You can stay whichever way you'd like. I'm going to rock back onto the heels of my feet and shift forward onto my hands in tabletop, allowing me to lower myself down into child's pose. We're going to spend about a minute here. Extend your arms and reach as far in front of your head as you can. Feel the stretch from your tailbone to your fingertips. And as you get more comfortable in this position, lower your forehead to the floor if you can. From there, I'm going to shift my arms behind me so that they're next to my feet. I'm going to let the weight of my shoulders pull them towards the ground to stretch out the muscles around my shoulder blade. Continue to breathe. I'm going to bring my arms back around in front, return to a normal child's pose, and then lift my butt, shifting forward into a cobra. Try to lengthen your neck and press your shoulders towards the floor. From here, I'm going to shift and rock into downward dog, the first of the day, so if you're not ready to get those heels to the floor, do not force them. Rocking back forward into a cobra, lifting my feet, pointing my toes backwards. Shifting up to tabletop, walking my hands backwards so they're under my shoulders. We now arch our back and round our back with as much range of motion as we possibly can. Exhale as your back goes up. Inhale as your chest comes down. Move at whatever speed you would like. Be mindful of your breathing. I'm going to shift back onto my butt, and I'm going to grab my band. I'm going to shift to the middle of my mat, but again, you can stay where you are, and I want you to be able to see what I'm doing behind my back. The top arm is holding the band. Bottom arm attempts to grab the band. If you have the mobility to grab your fingers, you may not need this. From here, to increase tension in the stretch, I'm going to straighten my top arm, flexing my tricep, getting that pinky to the sky, stretching out the bottom arm. We're going to do each position twice. I'm now going to shift my focus to my top arm and extend my bottom arm, pinky towards the floor, straightening that arm, flexing that tricep. This stretch should not be painful, but it should be uncomfortable. If you're using just your hands, you can apply tension and release with one arm, depending on which arm you have in what position. Let's switch our arms. So now the other arm is on top and the other arm is on bottom. This side, I struggle much more. I'm only straightening my top arm as much as my body allows, keeping as much tension in that bottom arm as I can. After a moment, we release. And we shift our stretch to the top arm now, where the bottom arm again extends, applying the tension and the stretch to the top arm. Slowly releasing the tension. I'm going to do each arm one more time, and I'm going to try not to use the band. This first side, I'm able to connect my fingers. This is a great range of motion, a great flexibility. We're going to hold and breathe. I'm not pulling either way. I'm simply just attempting to keep my hands together. Releasing slowly, I'm going to switch which arm is on top and which is on bottom. This side I struggle much more. Truthfully, I'm happy with how close my hands are now. They used to be about a hand's width away from each other before. I'm going to hold for the best I can. If you can connect them, and release. I'm going to shift back to the side of my mat, but again, you can stay where you are. I'm going to rock forward into tabletop, shift back into child's pose. Inhale, lift up, exhale, cobra. Place my feet, rock back into downward dog. Try to get those heels a little bit closer. Imagine my body is an upside down V. Bend my knees and jump or step forward to the front of the mat. Drop down to a squat and then stand up and roll your back, reach for the sky. Exhale, forward fold, reach for the floor, straightening your legs. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, back down. Bend the knees, round the back, roll up, reach for the sky as we inhale. Lean back a little bit. Exhale, forward fold. Bending my knees, jumping back to a plank or stepping back. Rock backward to downward dog. And shift forward to cobra. Back up to downward dog. And plank. Bring your right leg forward between your hands. Lift your right hand and rotate towards that right leg, stacking your hands, opening up your chest and twisting as much as you are able. Bring that hand back to the ground and lift up. Inhale, reach for the sky. Bring your hands together in front of your chest for prayer. Twist to the side and get your left elbow to your right knee. Again, opening up your chest as much as you're able. We're going to spend about 10 seconds here. And then we're going to hold this twist, but we're going to reach straight forward, fingertips past our head. And reach, holding for 10 seconds, trying to maintain balance, keeping our chest open. And rotate back to neutral, hands back to the floor. Step back to plank, rock back to downward dog. Come forward back to plank, drop down to cobra. And again, rock back to downward dog. This time we rock forward to plank, and we bring our left leg between our hands. Lift the left hand, rotate, and face your left leg, reaching for the sky, opening up your chest as much as you're able, and breathe. Bring your left hand back to the ground. Inhale, reach for the sky. Prayer pose, then twist to the left, bringing your right elbow to your left knee. Try to focus and keep your balance. I lost mine, but I caught it. Come back to the pose if this ever happens. In a moment, again, we are going to reach our arms past our head towards the wall. Reach, hold, breathe, stay twisted, maintain the position. And twist back to neutral, hands back to the floor. Step back, downward dog. Inhale, hips down to cobra. Lift back to downward dog. Stretch out those shoulders. Bend your knees, jump forward into that frog pose or step forward, deep squat. Round, roll that back. Open up, inhale, and reach for the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, back to the floor. Bend your knees, round and roll your back. Inhale, reach for the sky. Let's drop down to a squat. Hold for a moment. Place your hands behind you. Catch yourself. Bring your heels to the outside edges of your mat. Lie on your back, palms up, Shavasana. Let's stay here for at least 5 breaths. Raise your right leg straight and then rotate it towards your left. Once it's there, bend that knee. Place your hand on top and press towards the floor. We're going to lift our knee up against it, contracting and squeezing, pushing against your hand, then releasing and pressing a little bit farther down. 2 more times we'll do contract, relax. So contract, press up against your hand. Release and press down a little bit farther. One more time, press that knee up against your hand. And release, press down even farther. Remove your hand, straighten your leg, rotate back to the top, neutral, set it back down, and raise the left leg. Rotate to your right, bend your knee, place your hand on top, press it towards the floor. 3 more, contract, relax. So contract, press against, release, press it farther down, contract, press your hand into your knee, relax, let it back down. 1 more time, contract against your hand, release, press that knee towards the floor. Remove your hand, straighten your leg, rotate back to neutral, lower your leg back to the floor, back to Shavasana. Three or 4 breaths. Next, we keep our legs straight and we raise them up over our body, both at the same time. Try to grab your feet, pull your knees to your armpits. Happy baby. Within your comfort level, we're next going to try to straighten our knees while holding on to our feet, lifting our tailbone a little bit farther off the ground. If you're not able, you're welcome to stay in happy baby for a little bit longer. Here I am straightening my knees, lifting my tailbone and butt a little bit farther off the ground, trying to stay steady and hold my balance. Bend your knees back to happy baby. Let go of feet, release, and bring your feet back to the floor. From here, I'm staying in Shavasana for whatever is left. If you want to stick around, you can. I'll guide you through it. Otherwise, thank you for coming and have a wonderful day. If you stick around, you're going to hear that again. Begin to wiggle your fingers, roll your head, move your feet, move your hands. Let's sit back up slowly. I'm going to rotate on my mat. You can stay where you are. Straighten that spine, get comfortable. Rock on. Have a good day.